and we'll look forward to the next chat. Well, the next company on our radar is Mastek, and the company is in focus after Hiral Chandrana was appointed global CEO of the company last month. He was formerly Senior Vice President at Wipro, and now he's with us actually for his first interview since taking over the reins at Mastek. Hiral, great to have you on the show. Thank you for joining in. You know, we've already had a call on the Q1 earnings, so I want to start with a broader question on strategy, because traditionally Mastek's, the bulk of the business has been coming in from the UK. You, I believe, are going to be based out of the US. Interesting time when everyone's talking about, the digital acceleration. So your thoughts on the strategy for the US market, for the company, and your sense on demand?
Thanks for having me on the show. Very exciting times, like you said. It's a major disruption that's happening in our industry. As you know, the customer dimension, the people dimension, the technology dimension, all three dimensions are going through some, frantic pace of innovation. If you look at Mastek, we've had the distinction of having so many different firsts, right? The first company to get listed, we entered the public sector almost 20 years back. We, essentially stood up a grounds-up company, Majesco, sold it to a private equity last year. So we've had this DNA of business solutions. We've had this DNA of creating differentiated services. And that DNA, we like that positioning. We like the challenger, sort of niche challenger provider in the mid-cap space. So building on from here, as you know, our presence in the US is still fairly small compared to the other geographies. A big part of the strategy is to grow in the US. But we are fortunate to have a great mix of digital and cloud services for most of our business. And we see a combination of organic as well as inorganic as part of our journey for growth.
Okay. Hiral, hi, good morning, and thank you for being with us. You have almost 3 decades of experience in the sector. I mean, you were with Wipro earlier. You helped transform the applications business as well. I wanted to understand from you, what stage of this IT cycle are we in at the moment? What is the next trigger for growth, not just for your own company, but for the sector on the whole?
Yep. No, great, Sonia. So basically, if you look at how customer behavior is changing, through the pandemic, they've had to reimagine and rethink their business models. They've had to rethink their supply chains, their structures. So they now have realized that they want to retain certain capability in-house. They don't want to outsource everything to one vendor. So we kind of like that positioning because when it comes to Mastek, we don't do everything, but what we do really, really well. So from that perspective, the people dimension is becoming more and more important. And I'm not just talking about the talent crunch and the work from home, but just in terms of how employees are engaged, the hybrid model of the future, where there's going to be job sharing, the gig economy, how it gets dovetailed into the IT services realm. And most importantly, the intersections of technology and industry. We are already very strong, as you know, in public sector and retail. We have a fairly good presence in healthcare and life sciences. So we're looking at betting on certain industries and making that intersection our sweet spot, which is the intersection of technology and industry domain. And industry is seeing the same kind of trends. If you look at artificial intelligence, for example, it's not just the technology, it is the intersection of that with healthcare or intersection of that with IoT that's really causing amplified innovation.
Okay. Hiral, good morning. Interesting that you'll be based in US while your predecessor was based in UK. Is that a bit of a tactical shift for Mastek, because your business predominantly is UK based, right? US is only 15%, so are you going to ramp up the US revenue?
That's absolutely right, Anuj. So we have had a strategy by design for the global CEO to be based in the US. It was announced a few months back, as you know. And we have a very strong, founder and promoter and board. There is a solid leadership team that we have globally. Very proud, actually, in the last 40 days to meet about 150 people virtually in various different conversations, including customers and partners, in addition to employees. And we feel that there's a massive untapped potential in the US market, just in terms of the size. We also believe that we have the ingredients of the capabilities and the depth and the experiences available. So it's a matter of weaving that together, making it available, and going after the US market in a big way.
Okay. You have about 1,000 crores of cash on the books. What are the plans? I mean, any kind of acquisitions that Mastek is looking at over the next 6 to 12 months? And if yes, what are the potential areas of investment that you see over the next 1 year?
Sure. So, you've seen the acquisition that we made last year with Evosys. The cloud implementations business is really paid out fantastically. We have an engine now, Sonia, where we are opening 40 new customers every quarter. And we publicly announce this every quarter. You can see the trends for the last 1 year. So we have a fantastic customer base to build on. So we believe the acquisitions of the future will come from 2 or 3 different areas. One is what I'm calling the data continuum. So it could be the data, automation, AI, analytics continuum. We believe the intersection of that with certain industries could be an interesting bet. Digital commerce and experience is a few $1 trillion market already, and we are placed well there, but we feel that we can raise our game even further. So that's another interesting area for us to focus on. Cloud in general is a big opportunity in all industries, I would say. We've had certain experiences in the applications domain and the platforms domain. So we want to leverage building on that to see if we can have some tuck-in or some surround acquisitions around that space. So those are the 2 or 3 areas, the data continuum, the digital experience side, and then, the cloud platforms.
Okay, but Hiral, there will be challenges for you growing in the US market because there's already there's so much competition, and there are big companies already having legacy businesses out there.
No, absolutely. I mean, there is definitely going to be competition. We believe that through this last 15 months, customer behavior, like I said earlier, has started to change in terms of what they see in a provider and a partner. We have a lot of depth in certain areas on it, so we plan to leverage that. We don't want to be everything to everyone. We also have a fairly strong positioning when it comes to the mid-market, but we do believe that there is an opportunity for us to get into the Fortune 500, in some cases Fortune 1000. We're starting to see some really early signs of deals which are end-to-end, integrated with a front office, let's say Salesforce, the middle office, with some API integration, and then back office with an Oracle ERP cloud. So those are examples of deals which, coupled together with annuity business and managed services, will get us that seat in the table. And if we have the right differentiation and the mix of industry and technology, we believe we can make inroads in certain industries, at least in the US.
Hiral, I'm going back to a point you made earlier, inorganic opportunities. Now, you've got the money. You've got about, I think, 900 crores plus cash on the books. What kind of opportunities, anything on the radar? And a larger question on pricing. I guess in the private space here in India, pricing and valuations have gone completely through the roof. But in the markets and the kind of areas you're interested in, are you getting deals at a decent price, or is everything at a premium now?
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I was talking to a managing partner yesterday in a large company. They invest about $9 billion every year. And he was talking about companies that are going from 0 to 200 million in terms of raising in 12 months. It used to take about 10 years before, right? So you're right, Surabhi, the valuations are crazy. Having said that, we've had some interesting discussions going on in areas which are very specific. Could be in the automation space, it could be in the AI space. And if we catch those companies a little bit early on and sort of have that intersection, because now we have about 650 active customers in Mastek. For our mid-cap range of competition, not many competitors have that kind of customer base. So we believe we are an attractive option even for those smaller companies that are looking to scale up and partner with them in some cases where they have the technology, they have the innovation coupled with our customer base and our experience. We feel there's a winning combination. There's going to be a challenge for sure on the valuation, but we are starting to see some companies that might be good bets for the future.
Okay, we will let you go on that note today. Hiral, thanks a lot for joining us. It was good talking to you, and of course, we hope to have more conversations with you going forward.
Absolutely. Look forward to it, and thanks for having me on the show.
Okay, that's Mastek. Well, the mid-cap IT part has been doing really well. What's doing well this morning is HDFC Bank, but